It's been a week. Let's get into it. So I've been doing a lot of mental stuff this week. Mental stuff. Absolutely. And it's taken a lot out of me. But then again, I've had a lot of time to sit around and think, to be honest. And it's something that I felt that I've needed to do, but also stuff that was coming up that I needed to deal with. And yesterday was no exception. There was a lot of stuff that came up for me from an unexpected place. I've always been happy to be invisible. Not gonna lie, I have always been happy to be invisible. I've always been in places where I wasn't invisible, but I've always been happy to be the invisible person, right? For people not to notice me, not to notice my work, not all of that kind of stuff, it hasn't bothered me until now. Until I realised that a portion of my life, like a 15-20 year period of my life, there is literally no evidence for that it even existed. Because there's no one to talk to about it. Because everyone is dead. Except for me. And those that I would want to talk to about it wouldn't understand it. And some of them don't know half the shit that went on in that time, and they really wouldn't understand it. Because I wasn't the same, I was nowhere near being the same person as I am now. I wasn't doing what I'm doing now then. And we worked hard and we partied hard, and that was the way it was. But there were people back then that were like brothers to me. And realising that most of them aren't here anymore, and those that were or maybe want nothing to do with me is hurtful. But that's 2 people out of the entire planet, right? And they have their own lives, and we have moved on, and it's been another 20 years later, so why would they want to talk to me now? You know, life moves on for all of us. We don't always agree with our friends' decisions. Sometimes we move on from that, and we cut ourselves off from them to protect our life as it is going now, and that is completely acceptable, and that's okay. Because it is what it is. But having to deal with the fact that not only are you realising, even though you knew, some part of you knew, that they weren't around anymore, you'd never really given yourself a chance to take it in. And yesterday, that day was for me. That was the day where I took that in. Unfortunately, other people got upset with the fact that I was trying to deal with this, and I was trying to be honest about it, and I was trying to be open about it, because I'm on a healing journey, I'm on a health journey, and I need to be able to open up about this stuff. I don't want people to fix me or fix the situation or make it better. I need to ride through it and find a way through it. Tanny's really good for that. He really is good for that. Because he's like, He's not afraid to say he doesn't understand. He's not afraid to say what he thinks. But he's also not afraid to give me a hug when I need it. And understand that my feelings are what I need to get out in that moment. And he knew something was going on. He knew something was going on. And it wasn't just the fact that I'd only had 2 hours sleep and my feet had blown up to ridiculous sizes like this. Saving space for people who are going through stuff, just to be a sounding board, is enough. Most of the time when people are going through things, they don't need people to try and fix it. They don't need people to try and find replacements. They don't need people to try and make it about them. They need to understand that they don't get what's going on. They don't understand what's going on, and just that person might just need to vent or get it out of their system. Suppressing emotions has been something that I have always done my entire life, because I've always been told that my emotions were too much. You know, no matter what emotions they were too much. Too happy, too sad, too angry, too whatever. And the general consensus was, don't be ridiculous. But the message I got from that was I wasn't allowed to have my feelings, and my feelings had to be private. Where the problem with that is that I need to be more open and be able to speak my truth. Otherwise, I'm not going to heal. I need to be able to say how I'm feeling and be okay with that without having come back on me. You know? And we can't always talk to our friends about it. We can't always talk to those who are closest about it. And sometimes venting is just venting. Trying to make sense and hear it in the open is just about exactly that. And that's all that's necessary. Saving space is important. Emotional suppression is dangerous, and can have, and in my case has had, some permanent damage, which is in my memory, because I have been living in survival mode for 51 years. 51 years of survival mode. That's how old I am. And I have been in survival mode that entire time. So when you're in survival mode, your memories disappear, because it will only keep in your brain the information that you require to be safe in that moment. So when I tried to remember my friends' last names, I couldn't. I knew their first names. These were people that I set up a business with. These are people that I worked with. These are people that we spent pretty much every single day for 10 to 20 years with, in varying degrees. And there wasn't very often that a day went past where I didn't get to see one or other of them, if not all. They knew me, I knew them. They knew my children when they were babies. And that has all disappeared. All but disappeared. All but disappeared. So this week has been hard. And I had decided that this week I was going to up my calorie intake to around the 2,000 mark. And I did that because for the last 2 weeks my weight loss has been the same. Exactly the same. Exactly the damn same. So what happens is that yesterday I start bloat. My body is showing signs of bloat and the edema is back. And now I have to go weigh myself. And as you can see, I'm exactly where I was 2 weeks ago in week 3. 25 stone 13, 363 pounds, 164.65 kilos. So everything I lost and was down last week, I've gained back in water weight and bloat. I was still in a calorie deficit, but I'd changed my calories that I was in. That's okay. You can do that. Just saying. The point I'm trying to make is this is an up and down thing. It's not going to be all down, 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 down. It's going to be up and down and up and down and up and down. If I allow myself to plateau, I'm not going to make any headway. This week I'm back down to 1,500 calories. And we will stay that way until we start to plateau again, because that is the way it is. Am I upset? A little bit, because a lot of this edema didn't come up until yesterday. A lot of it didn't turn up until yesterday. Is it possible that I gained all this weight back just in fat over this week? No, because I was underneath I was in a deficit the whole week. Even though I treated myself a couple of days, even though I added up my calories, even though, you know, all of the things taken into consideration, this is water weight and bloat. And that's literally it. To have gained that amount of weight, I would have had to be eating twice, maybe, well, no, more than that. In a week, I would have had to have been eating something like 15,000 calories a day, or somewhere between 15 and 20,000 calories per day to gain that back in fat. It's not possible. It's fat. It's all water weight. It's all bloat, and that is what it is. And I can't change that, but next week I'll probably be up for quite a loss, you know, and that is what it is. But I want people to understand about bloat and water weight, especially when it comes to women's health and stuff. It's normal. Depending on what time of the month, you could have this anyway, just normally, and it's going to throw all your numbers out, and everyone's going to make you feel like shit. You've worked really hard, you've done really well, you've added extra things, you've taken away extra things, you've worked on some stuff. But it is really important to understand that bloat and water weight play a huge factor when you are losing the weight. So don't worry about it. Don't let it stop you, and don't give up because of it. So until next time, I will see you later. Have fun, guys.